stand for the pledge and remain standing for alongside the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated, please. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented tonight? A motion by Mr. Davidson, second by Mr. Clark. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
And motion passed. To start off tonight, we have the Covenant High School hostel team here, and Ms. Claire McDivitt.
Hi, and I have some girls that are come up here. I'm going to kind of move this back and let them come on up. Come on, girls. This is our community awareness team this year, and they want to do a little presentation for you. And you have some things out in front of you that they have brought, that they have actually designed this year. So I'll let y'all go on and get started, girls.
All right, good evening. I'm Mary Grace.
I'm Zoe.
I'm Anna.
I'm Andy.
And we're the community awareness team for Covington High School. And this year we partnered with Drug Free Tipton to bring awareness to our community about the current vaping epidemic. This year we chose to focus on Juul, which is a popular vaping device, because it has grown in popularity among everyone, including our friends and family. Not only has the FDA referred to this as an epidemic, but the Centers for Disease Control has deemed it a public health concern. Now, if you look at your little, it's like the bigger sheet, the information sheet, you'll see where the FDA has discovered that in the past year alone, vaping among high school students has increased 78% and middle school students by 48%. After discovering this, we decided to survey our own students and discovered that 20% of them admitted to juuling, though we feel the numbers are more. Now, I don't know if that's on your sheet or not, but up there, we got this straight off of the juuling website, and it states that since e-cigarettes have only been commercially available for a few years, just like any other vapor product, there are some things we do not know about Juul simply because it has only been on the market since 2015. So right there just shows that the people that come out with this, they don't even know what's going to happen to people that are using these. So that's why the Health Law Center has labeled teenagers a guinea pig generation.
So the main reason that we wanted to cover Juul this year was because it makes up 75% of all electronic nicotine devices that are used among teenagers. And I actually have a couple of Juuls. We'll pass them around so you can see. This is a Juul. This is like the normal Juul. It has two parts to it. This is where the nicotine is located, and it's 5% nicotine. You can smell it when she passes them around. And then this is the other part. You can charge it. It's electronically charged. And then new is the no-goes. This is a lot more higher level of nicotine. Those hit a lot harder than Juul, so that's probably even more dangerous.
Do they both produce smoke?
Yes.
I go vapor.
Mm-hmm. It's not very much smoke, so that's why teenagers think they can get away with it because it doesn't produce that much smoke, so it's not really that noticeable. And here's some pods, you can see. There's all kinds of different flavors. There's mint, there's fruit medley, there's all kinds of different flavors that go along with that. Here's the charger, actually. So you can just plug this into a charger or a computer, anything like that.
And we've actually seen students plug, you can see when the charger comes around, we've seen students plug them into like the Lenovo's at school and like charge their Juul. We had a teacher have to take one up because somebody was charging it off the Lenovo's at school.
So they're very convenient, as you see, they're not very big.
These aren't used.
Oh, no. We clean it.
Yeah, we clean it. Now, some of them are new.
Yeah, you can also take that top off. That has, you can smell that too. It might be a little harder to take off. That's where the nicotine is in that one too. All kinds of different flavors, and that's why teenagers love it. It's not just tobacco taste, it's anything they can make that really.
Is it addictive?
Yes, very addictive.
How much does one cost?
A Juul?
Yeah.
I think No, I think, because there's several different ways, because I've heard somebody say a starter kit, and they said that it's like, you get a jewel with the charger, and I think like, as you can see in this one, the one that had the different colors, which are the different flavors. So that's like a starter kit. Those are like $60. A jewel by itself, I'd say is probably $40. And a whole, this is what
A pack of pods would probably be about,
a pack of pods is like, it's $15 to $20, and it comes with 4 pods.
and that's how much students.
Students typically go through about a whole pack of pods, which is 4, and probably 1
That's
week.
80 cigarettes a week of nicotine.
Where do you get those, like, just any tobacco store?
Or gas station.
Gas station.
Well, I went Walgreens the other day, and I went Walgreens.
Yeah,
so-
that is should be 18.
Yes, you have to be 18.
Anyone about any age limit?
No, just 18 and up.
Well, that's probably the biggest problem is people that are of age buy for people that are under age.
Yes, sir. So, you ready?
The truth about Juuls. A Juul is a device that delivers nicotine to the bloodstream and the brain. Youth that use this device are more likely to smoke cigarettes in the future. The short-term and long-term health effects of using a Juul remain unclear and are concerning, resulting in today's youth becoming a guinea pig generation.
So if you'll pick up this little wrap card in front of you, we have made this ourselves with the help of Drug Free Tipton and Tennessee Department of Health and Substance Abuse Services. And if you'll look at the Pods of Truth section, it's like right here. This our first Pod of Truth contains nicotine. Juuls always contain high levels of nicotine. The amount of nicotine in one pod is equivalent to the amount of nicotine in a pack of cigarettes, which is our statement hydrate is highly addictive. The Center for Disease Control Research suggests that nicotine is just as addictive as heroin, cocaine, and alcohol. Up to the age of 25, a teenager's brains, or our brains, are still developing. So whenever they are putting nicotine into their brain, it is slowing down brain development and may not let their brain develop to the full extent needed.
Nicotine harms the teenager's brain by affecting their learning mood, their impulsive control, and their attention span.
Nicotine also changes the way that teenagers' memories are created.
Research shows that nicotine is a gateway drug leading to higher addictions.
So we know that Juul is delivering nicotine straight to the brain, but what else did it cause? I'll walk over here so I can see it. Nicotine can increase the tendency to get blood clots. It causes tremors, it causes pain, and nicotine also causes high insulin resistance, which can lead to type 2 diabetes for you or your baby if you're pregnant. It can cause high blood pressure and coronary artery constriction disease. So I had a friend once, this is a little story. She thought it would be fun to take 20 hits off of a Juul in a really small amount of time. Not even 5 minutes after that, she had dizziness and she had a headache, which led to her throwing up, and she had dry mouth. We're also seeing nicotine poisoning. So kids are coming into like a hospital with nicotine poisoning. We have never seen that before. We also see these side effects with people who are smoking cigarettes, like our grandparents. So that's what we really want to, we want to make a change. We don't want that to be us when we get older. We don't want to be human guinea pigs like our grandparents were.
Alright, this is,
We have a little video for y'all. See over there.
John, get ready on the sound. Volume.
There's an epidemic spreading. There's an epidemic spreading. Scientists say it can change your brain. Scientists say it can change your brain. It can release dangerous chemicals. It can release dangerous chemicals. It can expose your lungs to chlorine, which can cause irreversible damage.
where is it? I don't know now. Technology is wonderful most of the time. It's the operator.
There's an epidemic spreading. Scientists say it can change your brain. It can release dangerous chemicals like formaldehyde into your bloodstream. It can expose your lungs to chlorine, which can cause irreversible damage. It's not a parasite, not a virus, not an infection. It's vaping.
Our biggest concern at the moment is our student handbook. Our student handbook only says possession and or use of tobacco or tobacco-related products is a step 2 offense. Right now, it doesn't say anything about e-cigarettes, nicotine devices, or vaping.
So students in school really think that it's no big deal. They will jewel in classrooms, the hallways, and bathrooms, and they think, I can do whatever I want with this jewel because I can't get in trouble. They know that in the student handbook that it says only about tobacco. They know that it doesn't say anything about nicotine. So that's kind of like their trap, you know. If the teacher will say something, they'll say, well, you can't get me in trouble because in the student handbook it says nothing about nicotine. So that's why we're here. We see the problem and we really just want to make a change. We think one of the best solutions is for Dr. Combs to make a countywide call out to the middle and high school students. And our main reason why we're here is we want a policy change in the student handbook so it'll say all nicotine and vaping devices and not just tobacco. Thank you.
Can I ask a question? Have you given a presentation at Covington High School on this?
We actually taught a few of our health class, like wellness classes. We went and taught two a day, like an A day and a B day. We went and taught 2 classes throughout the day. And we actually did this PowerPoint for them except for the student handbook.
How were you received by the student body, do you think?
Some of them were more like, okay, and then others just kind of had like, some were more responsive, some of them had like bad attitudes. Some made fun of it.
We also did this at a meeting, a teacher meeting, teachers, yeah. So we did it to all the teachers, so they all know about it now, and the secrets that the kids do to try and hide it. So we presented this at them.
Were y'all going to pass stuff out like this countywide and all
We're
the
gonna
schools?
send it with the,
Well,
report card, right?
we were kind of wanting to ask permission about that also. We can get as many of those rack cards. Those rack cards, actually, we had to get those approved with Drug-Free Tipton's help with the Department of Health on the back, the substance abuse. We probably worked with them, oh gosh, probably a month to get this approved because they didn't want anything on it that wasn't true. They wanted to make sure everything was right before we could ever even get it approved to be sent out. So we only have we had about 500 that we've made this time, I think. And we were going to send them out to Covington High School students for sure, but we wanted to, reach out to other ones and see about the middle school and the high schools. But we feel like a lot of parents do not know their children are doing it. Okay, they don't know. And these kids carry those little jewels around with them 24/7. They sleep with them. They do their homework with them.
I never heard of it until about 3 months ago.
They don't stink either, right?
And I smell like
It's
perfume.
like perfume, like, yeah, so they don't.
And a lot of them don't blow it down their shirt, so.
It's not a lot of smoke either. Like a big vape, you could do clouds, like big old clouds. And the jewels, it don't go anywhere.
Do y'all need a motion from us to approve this to go out?
Well, I would say this, I got to meet with these young ladies, right before Christmas, they're at Covington High with Tab and Mark, and, they presented all this to me, it was really good, and they even gave me some really good ideas on what we can do as far as whenever, we edit the handbook before it comes out next year, there's some of this information in it, like the steps they were talking about, and adding the e-cigarettes and the vape and the jewels and all that stuff in there, and gave us some really good ideas, and we're meeting with administration to work on having that ready for the handbook for next year already.
So we need to go ahead and change the policy tonight?
We probably have to write, edit, and then present it to you, and then let you see one that's edited first, and then we do it. But quite frankly, we can change part of the handbook without changing the policy.
Because if we're doing this in school, we gotta stop.
Right.
Now.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Well,
sir.
Can you amend, do an amendment like thing?
And I think that's
Get it
probably the
taken
direction
down?
we go. And I will say this too, we reached out to TSBA and some of the others, especially after they presented some of this information to me the other day. And TSBA doesn't even have a model policy on it yet, but they are in the process of trying to do one because it's become more than a Tipton County problem, obviously. It's across the nation. And so they're already hearing it from other schools and possibly may have one that they're able to send out to us because they're working on one right now.
Because one of the biggest things that we're seeing, it's not, and I always hate to be the bearer of bad news, but kids are putting THC in that, which is marijuana, THC oil, and as a school, you can't determine if it's nicotine or THC unless you have a drug test. So after we've been researching it a lot, we have noticed that a lot of the school districts, that Collierville just had a big thing about it not long ago. They had on the news about it, so they were talking about their policy. But what they're talking about is any aerosol device. So any device that produces an aerosol. Not as much of, I mean, it's still vapor, but vapor is more like a water base, but they're saying these produce more of an aerosol, which have chemicals in them, like an aerosol does. So anything that is a vape or produces any type of aerosol into the thing, that would be, so you wouldn't necessarily, the kids would get in trouble for the product, having that type of product. And some school districts are making the parent pay for a drug test on it or whatever, but we don't have to, I mean, that's a lot of different stuff. So everyone has a different policy on it. Especially coming from California, they've had, things start there a lot faster than it comes here. So a lot of them already have a lot of policy changes there, and they have that component for marijuana or THC in it. So, you know, I think it's something that we would have to research to find out, and like he said, if we could get a policy that the state of Tennessee already had, that would be wonderful. But I think one of the biggest things, if we educated our parents,
I agree.
because parents, I have known parents to actually buy them for their kids, not realizing that they had nicotine, and I thought, why are you letting them even inhale anything, first of all? But, you know, I guess they're thinking it's better than cigarettes, but these kids have never smoked cigarettes, because really and truly, cigarettes have never been a big, huge problem for this generation. You know, like they were back when I was in school, or back when my parents were in school, for sure, they had smoke breaks and stuff. You know, they haven't been that big of a deal for our generation. So we're getting kids addicted to a product that they never even would have needed, you know,
And like,
because they think it's cool.
they're supposed to be for smokers to quit smoking. I mean, it even said that on the Juul website today. They're meant for smokers to quit smoking, but kids that have never even picked up a cigarette before in their life, they're walking around with them.
If you put twice as much nicotine in something, then you're not trying to get him to quit
Yeah.
anymore.
Well, that's what their commercials.
Dr. Combs, what happens to a kid right now if they get caught doing this on school property?
Right now, not a whole lot, because it's not in the policy. I mean, yeah, it's, you know, smoking is, tobacco is, cigarettes are, but specific to, just like they were saying earlier when they introed it, there's nothing specific to juuling. You know, you can put it under there like other, and, you know, do some things with it, but I'll tell you, one of the hardest things is catching them.
Well, what happens?
Because of the ease of doing
How,
it. That's
if
what
we
it's
caught
keeping out.
one and we confiscated their device, how would we know if there's illegal drugs in it?
Well, most of those are gonna have nicotine. Those
No,
things they just passed out to you,
marijuana,
they're gonna have something in
THC.
it. Well, the best thing to do is just to say we can't have any of it.
Right.
Which
But
would
then
say
that, we have to go, we have to
and
go
we-
to our, through our resource officer and administration, they'd have to take care of it, because that's
That's
an
an
issue beyond.
expensive, yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
that's a law enforcement issue too.
Would this be something that the drug dogs sniff out?
Oh, they could sniff THC.
Mhm.
But they can't sniff
But they
anything.
can't sniff that.
I've had friends
Yeah.
like, they'll be like, we'll see the drug cops coming up, I got pods in my purse or something like that.
Yeah, they're in
And
the car.
they'll come through and they don't ever know nothing.
We do have a radio PSA, I forgot to mention, it's reached a lot of people, if y'all would like to hear it.
I've heard it on 93.5, y'all, they've been running the human guinea pig for an hour already. Yeah, it's good.
I just recently started.
Oh, okay. Let's see, I probably have my volume off. All right.
Hey, don't be the next human guinea pig. What TV? I see you over there, Julie. Don't you know that does to your body? Who cares? Julie can lead to addiction and harm a teenager's brain, which includes you. So what? At least I'm not smoking cigarettes. Yeah, but one line has as much nicotine as a pack of cigarettes, and the more you drool, the worse the craving. To top it all off, you still don't know the long-term health effects, which is why I'm calling you human guinea pig. I didn't know my 10-second head rush could lead to this. Say no to Julie. Don't be a human guinea pig. This message is brought to you by Drug-Free Tipton and Covington, Missouri.
Those voices sound familiar.
Thank you all for being here tonight. We have, they gave everyone a T-shirt, and we thank you for the T-shirt. And let's give them a round of applause.
y'all want to get a picture of the board members with shirts?
Please. And those are stress boats that they had made, if you notice those. Those are because kids say they're stressed all the time that they have to jewel.
No, Jewel, use your stress ball.
Just stand up, hold them up. Right. Yep, y'all want to stay here and hold the markers? Yeah, come on. Y'all do the background.
We might not need squad.
Alright, who do we look at first?
Alright, look in the middle.
Look at the middle.
I'm already done.
My next. 1, 2.
Thank you.
Nice job.
You think we can have something for the next meeting that
Absolutely.
can change our policy?
Well, we've got what's our admin meeting coming up? Is it next week? Okay. Dave, we talk about, we meet and assistant principals of every school comes in and they make changes to the handbook. Y'all remember we can do that? And so that's coming up next week?
For the next.
So we'll be able to discuss it then.
So we can change the policy, or we change the handbook.
We can change the handbook before we change the policy. We can add that to our handbook and just, right now, just add it to include rules and all those other things along the same line where we have the cigarettes. We'll just add it in there. But we need to eventually see what TSBA is going to do with the policy, because when I called them, they said they're working on one right now.
It's a daily issue on that.
Absolutely. Well, and Dr. Fisher just showed me today, when you walked in my office, there's in the commercial appeal, you open up the commercial appeal, and the whole back section, just the whole layout on the back, was a whole advertisement for Julie. And it was advertising to adults, but down there in the corner, down in small print, it said for adult use only, not for children under whatever. But it was a huge article just dedicated to Julie. Yeah.
All right, we'll move on. Do we have any addition to the agenda? Any group of petitions here tonight? I see none.
Quick question. If you change that handbook, will you send out a notice to all the parents that they changed?
Absolutely, yes, sir. We probably do a call out like they did or something like that. If we, usually what we do is we do it and then it's effective next year. We can have some kind of addendum to it that we send something out, probably. I'll have to we'll have to look at that. Yes, sir.
Does anyone have any item they would like to remove from the consent agenda for discussion? If not, do we have a motion to approve as presented? Have a motion by Mr. Farrell.
Second.
Second by Mr. Clark. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion passed. Next item on our agenda is Director of Instruction report. Dr. Rebecca Purd.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Just a couple things from me. Of course, I'd like to thank Tipton High School for coming tonight. I think those ladies did a great job. One of those is my niece, so for transparency purposes, so I'm obviously proud, extra proud of Mary Grace, who's the one on the stand. Yeah, the one that talked a lot. Federal monitoring, just to let you know, we will have federal monitoring next week in our district, and I know that we have some folks who have worked really hard in preparing for that. Miss Mary and Samuel and her team in federal programs, and then our special ed department headed up by Miss Ann Burleson and Miss Sharon Bliss. We want to thank them for all their work in advance, and we look forward to a successful monitoring next week. And then the only other thing I have is we will have our personnel meetings in February, and we are beginning to look at projections and numbers for next year during these meetings and planning for 1920. That's all I have, unless anybody has questions for me.
When the federal cutback or anything that's going on there right now, is that affecting us in any way as far as federal funds or federal, I guess what's been going on, so.
Not that I'm aware, but I will yield to Miss Mary and Sandy.
So all of our federal funds are flow-through money, so it's already in Nashville.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Any other questions for Dr. Bird? Thank you, Dr. Bird.
Thank you. The YMCA of Memphis and the Mid-South would like the opportunity to present to you as members of the school board for the consideration and approval to transition the leadership of our 6 school-age child care programs here in Tipton County. We have, Tipton County Schools has provided school-age child care for 30 years. It was established to provide child care for school-age children before and after school, and we have provided a great service to our families. We provide homework assistance, some hands-on activities, and then recreational activities. The program was designed to be financially self-sufficient, but of course there are some challenges with all things that are good. There's still challenges with that. Most of our staff are 18 years and older, but they're part-time. We have a high rate of turnover. It's very difficult for us to keep trained staff. We average about, each month, we have a turnover of staff within school-age child care. And this definitely has an impact on our human resources department. There's a lot of paperwork that we go through, background checks and all of that, and yet we still lose these individuals. One, because they are part-time, and so they're all seeking full-time employment. So it is a revolving door. So also we have to consider maintaining the adequate staff ratios because we do meet Tennessee Child Care licensing guidelines, which is a 1 to 10 ratio. And then we have a young staff that's also having to deal with our parents as consumers, so we know the issues that can go along with that. The YMCA of Memphis and the Mid-South, of course, does provide different opportunities that we are not able to provide for our students. They have the resources and the expertise. Their program model, they're nationwide, they're nonprofit, they have an intentional curriculum. They are able to provide STEM activities, arts, literacy, physical activities. They even have interest clubs. Of course, they have a well-trained staff able to provide some benefits that we're not able to. Their fees are comparable. And they do provide services in our surrounding community with Millington, Arlington, Colliersville, and Arlington. But they would like to present to you to transition this leadership. And so tonight, we're only seeking approval for them to present to you as a school board. That's all we're asking. That's something that they ask of us. And so that would be something that we would like for you to consider. So as a school board, for them to come and to make their presentation to you to transition that leadership.
Do we have a motion to grant this presentation for Wayne?
I make a motion, we accept it.
A motion by Mr. Martin, a second by Mr. Davis. All right, are there any questions at this time?
I got one. Did we seek them out, or did they seek us out?
No, we did not. They have been actually looking at Tipton County for the past 3 years. They have been coming and just wanting to know if they could come and provide their services. One, because of the wide variety of their services. They provide services in Millington, as I said, Millington, Arlington, Collierville, Bartlett, and so we're just within that community, and so they are seeking out just individuals, school systems, wanting to continue providing their services. They actually provide a summer camp in Munford already. We provide meals for them, during the summertime. So they just came in and asked about the presentation, and so they came to us and shared that we entertained that only the school board could make that decision even for a presentation.
What do you want to do?
I want you to hear their presentation.
You do want to do
Now,
I would
but the
like-
ones that are in the position now, they think they're gonna have a job?
No, they would be considering all of the employees that, we did talk about what we have in place. They would be considering all of them. They would have stakeholder meetings where they bring in and talk with all of the parents. And so that would be what they would want to present to you. And then, of course, we'd have to look at facilities, equipment. There's a lot that would have to go into that.
So can you have us some numbers and everything for comparison's sake, when they do come?
Yes, I can tell them to make sure
If
that
they
they
do
have
come.
it. If they do come, yes, sir. You
Any
have a
other questions?
That was my question.
Okay.
All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion passed.
Okay, my second item is the 5-year strategic plan. As you know, we're getting ready to begin that process, and of course, we know that it is an organizational management activity used to set priorities, and so as a board, you will have an integral part of this process as we begin to set goals and priorities for the next 5 years. Definitely we want to clarify a vision that speaks to the future of the students that we currently have in Tipton County Schools and preparing for today's workplaces. So
What will the priorities be? You'll be looking at those. Will they be instructional? Will they be capital improvements, teacher recruitment, retention? You know, what will we need to focus on in the coming year? So you're a vital element in the preparation for this plan. On January 22nd, many of you are going to be taking part in the TSBA training in Jackson. And this will be our first step toward learning about those priorities for post-secondary needs for our students in the high school. So that's going to be that focus. But Dr. Tammy Grisham is also available to conduct training here in the district through TSBA. If the training is run through the School Board Academy program, through the Department of Education, and it is 7 hours, you as a board member will receive mandatory training credit. So that's another opportunity, and a $75 stipend. So that's also something for you to consider as well if we bring her here. So.
Dr. Grissom can be here on February the 15th. We have a meeting on the 14th that Thursday night, and she can be here that Friday the next day for that training. And as Dr. Fisher said, it will go towards your School Board Academy training, according to what Dr. Grissom says. So I think it's worth the time to get her here. I mean, it's no charge. And
correct.
For her to come, and we pay TSBA, you know, for our dues and whatnot. I think we ought to take use of this service.
Is that the same training that we're gonna get on the 22nd?
This is not, this is different, yes, so.
22nd is what?
Yeah.
Isn't that close to the time when they're gonna do it too?
No, it's next week, it's not, it's Day on the Hill on Monday and Tuesday. Yeah, this is on Friday. Do we have a motion to, grant permission for Dr. Grissom to come and do that training for us on the 15th of February? That's on the date she has in February.
I make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Marshall. Second by Mr. McClurkin. Are there any other questions? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, no. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fisher.
Thank you.
The next item is our financial report. Ms. Peggy Murdoch.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have a few extra things for you guys tonight. The first is your blue books that contain the audit report for the schools. You have two books. The small one is the one that is a governance report, and that is just to those who are in your spot. So read over that. In the larger book, you can see the balance sheet for every school in the district. And then those of you who are familiar with these, you can look at the back for findings. I believe they start on page 65, and you can see the new findings for this year. Of course, we have the standard number 1 that tells that we don't have someone in each school that is able to create these financial statements. We just kind of have to live with that finding every year. And then you'll see there are only 5 more findings. So we've done better than we did last year. Certainly those schools that are listed are wishing that they weren't there and hoping that they won't be there next year. And then you can also see where the corrective actions are and the schools that were on it last year and have either corrected it or have repeated it. And you'll see a couple that have repeated it. For whatever reason that is, they have corrected it this time. So read over that, and anytime you have a question about it, or if you have a question, give me a holler or an email, and I'll be happy to answer any of those questions that you've got. All right, and then in the packet that I have for you that has the post-enrollment review worksheet, I don't believe you guys have seen this form before. I know I haven't. Maybe Mr. Bobby has given it to you all, or some of you in the past. But this is a snapshot of the savings that the district has, as well as the savings that are for the employees because of the pre-tax Section 125 cafeteria plan. And if you can look at the numbers and see the types of policies that have been offered and the percent of those who purchased and what they purchased. And then at the bottom, about the middle of the page where the blue is, you can see the total pre-tax contribution amount, $3,378,380. And the savings that we have, as a district for doing it in a pre-tax format is $258,446. Then of course, when you look at the savings for the employees, because they have the savings of taxes, not just Social Security, Medicare, and unemployment, they have their tax savings as well, so theirs is even higher, of approximately $675,000. So the program is a great program for us. American Fidelity is our current provider for our cafeteria plan. Any questions about that?
You need a motion to,
No,
it's
sir.
just information?
It's just information,
Okay.
yes, sir. The next one is a contract with Pitney Bowes that Munford Elementary would like you all to approve. It shows that they are paying $156 quarterly, and the contract is at the back. Because they are moving from standard landlines to Wi-Fi, the cost is going to go to $165. They have checked with one other company and they did not find a savings of this amount, so they're asking that you would approve that.
Do we have a motion to approve this, postage meter lease agreement? Motion by Mr. Vincent, second by Mr. Clark. Are there any questions? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion passed.
All right, thank you for that. The next thing that I want to run by you is to kind of keep your eyes open in the news. The information that we are getting is that Republicans plan to push a bill through the legislature that would place an SRO in every building. We're hopeful that that will come. Certainly it's at the beginning stages, hasn't even made it to the development of the bill yet, but we are hopeful that that will come to pass. So if you can contact your state representatives and senators, make sure you do. And the message that the superintendents are giving is, if they pass it, then please fund it fully, I think is the word. So leading into that, we have a couple of budget amendments for you. The front sheet, if you remember last month, we gave you these budget amendments that we were going to take to the county commission. Of course, they had already had their meeting before you guys met, so I was going to bring it to them next Monday night. But we had one more to do because Glenn, with our security grant, has been trying to figure out a way to get some security in Austin P Elementary and Drummond's Elementary, because they're very, very far away from anybody being able to reach them. So he has come to an agreement with the county to provide some additional security personnel. And in order to do that, we had to add $26,000 to our security contracts with government agencies is the line that it is. So we're asking you to approve an amendment for 141 that would increase line 72-130-309 by $26,000. And we're getting that money from the same category, 72-130, and we're taking 16,000 away from 123 and 10,000 from 207. And so it's a wash. We're inside of the category, moving some money from one end to the other. So I would need you to approve that amendment, please.
Do we have a motion to approve the amendment? Motion by Mr. Davidson, second by Ms. Rozelle. Are there any questions? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion passed.
Okay, thank you. And then you'll see on the next page, the 142, and you know federal monies come and go, they give, they take away. And I put it on the front sheet so that you could see. The very top is what we approved last time, the $1,200 for the trauma-informed schools. But the second part of that is what federal projects have had to increase and decrease. And they're all laid out for you there. The programs that are affected are the IDEA preschool, Read to Be Ready, and then allocation revisions within Title I. So I can go over all of those with you, or not. I mean, what's your pleasure?
It's up to the board. It's,
Okay.
self-explanatory.
It is,
pretty much.
it is. I can read it or you can.
Right. You need a motion on
I
that?
do,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Do we have a motion to approve these amendments
For 142.
for 142? Motion by Mr. Farrell, second by Mr. Clark. Are there any questions? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion passed.
All right, thank you. And I will take these along with the ones that we had last month to the county commission on Monday night. I enclosed what the, budget amendments would look like on the next pages, all of these. I only included the one page for the general that had the things that were going to be changed, so that you wouldn't have an 18-pager on that. But they're there for you to look at in case you have questions. Please don't hesitate to call. All right, so our financial report for the month of December. If you look at our 141, you can see that our revenue was $11,746,609. That's the beginning of the income from property taxes, why that looks much larger than normal. So we had a total for the 6 months of $41,012,115. And that is 48.7% of our receipts that we're expecting this year. On the expenditure side, you can see in December we had $6,789,251. That's 8% of the expenditures. We have expended 40% of our budget compared to the revenue intake of 48.7. Questions on 141? All right, 142, federal. These are where our changes are going to take place. In December, the federal budget received $512,947. That is a 7.5% of their revenue. They spent $521,392, which is 7.6%. So we're looking at a revenue income for the 6 months of 33%. And an expenditure total of 34%. Very close. Questions on federal? All right, 143, cafeteria fund. They have received $512,621, revenue of 8.9% of their expectation. 30% revenue received. So they are behind in their revenues. They know it. It works that way every year. It's expected to come. The expenditures for the month of December, $438,428, which is a 7.6% of their expenditures. So for the 6 months, they have expended 40% of their expected expenditures. Cafeteria questions? And of course, we have not done anything with our capital projects yet, so it's a 0-0. We hope something will happen soon.
Do we have a motion to approve the financial report as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Martin. Second by Ms. McClurkin. Are there any questions for Ms. Murdock? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion passed. Thank you, Ms. Murdock. Dr. Cole.
Yes, sir, just a few things. Took some notes here, so y'all bear with me, make sure I get it all in. First of all, I know that Dr. Fisher already spoke about the meeting on the 22nd. It's called Pass the Promise. And answer the question asked earlier, I think, Mr. Vincent, that on the 22nd, that's going to be more geared toward secondary, post-secondary paths and what we can do as a school system to push kids in the right directions as far as their post-secondary decisions. I think that's going to be a lot of what we hear when we go there, but that will also be stuff that we can tie into our strategic plan whenever we start doing that with Dr. Grissom later on. So it should be pretty good stuff. There are 6 of you, I believe, who are registered to go. If anyone else would like to go, then let us know.
Ms. Rysdale.
Okay, all right, we'll work on getting you scheduled as well. We're gonna have, the bus will leave here, or the bus, I said that earlier. The van will leave here at 7:30, bright and early, that morning. If you would like to ride, you'd be more than happy to ride with us, and we'll we'll go down there in the van and then, have something back. And then also, I want to let you know that we're still waiting on Jeff Eakes from A2H to get a proposal together. I got some of this information from Mr. Donnie today to make sure where we stand on the field house situation, that kind of thing. But he's getting a proposal together for the Covington Planning Commission. He has to present it before them. But I think we're dragging a little bit on what that proposal is going to be. So Donnie and I both spoke with him today, and we have a meeting set up for Tuesday of next week, and we're going to encourage him to go ahead and get that done. So that's set for Tuesday. And then once we get that proposal fixed, where everybody's in agreement with it, then we push that on, or they present it to the Covington Planning Commission. That's the next step. Then we can get going that way. But we're going to go ahead and move that forward.
Dr. Combs, quick question.
Yes, sir.
Did the contract or the agreement between the private entity and the school board take place on that property yet?
That's actually my next point.
Oh,
No, it's awesome. You're taking right where I am. That's good. I spoke with David Owen again today, and he is going to meet with his group this month. And he said he has spoken with pretty much everyone outside of them meeting, and they're all in agreement that they're ready to move it forward to us. So they're just meeting this month, and they're going to go ahead and make that happen. So I spoke with him today, so we had a board meeting tonight. I know I'm going to be asked the question, where are we? And he said we're going to get that done. We're going to meet and get that done, and I see no reason why that won't happen. So looking forward to that, which is great. That means I can skip that one and go on to the next one. Also want to reiterate the message that I sent out earlier. Hopefully all of you got that this week. That I sent out to parents. I think we included y'all in the call out as well. I just want to encourage y'all to encourage others, and anybody else who's listening to encourage others that if they know of a threat or something going on in one of the schools, or even a rumor, call law enforcement. Don't just post it on social media and then let it spread and become a different animal. Let somebody know. I spoke to somebody the other day and told them the same thing, and that was kind of the purpose of that call out. If our parents will kind of keep up with their social media footprint of their kids and kind of know what's going on there, but if they will let law enforcement know, school administration know, and just let law enforcement know, they'll let us know, and then we'll move forward with it. But those things just grow legs when somebody starts posting something. Before you know it, it's something completely different, and it doesn't give us a whole lot to go on. So the legitimate concerns, if they come through our law enforcement, then we'll work on those so we can discern those from rumors, and that certainly makes the process a whole lot easier. But anyway, if you'll help me get that message out, that would be wonderful. And then lastly, I want to make sure that we recognize Commissioner Copeland. Appreciate you being here tonight. He's been very supportive of the school system. Matter of fact, I believe you were a spelling bee judge today, weren't you?
I was.
Right, elementary school?
We all have some very impressive students. I was like, Lord, I'll do this as long as y'all give me the word.
Well, we appreciate you being here and for doing that, and all the support you give our school system. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
You'll do a great job for us as so anyway, on my behalf and District 9, we appreciate what y'all do.
Thank you. Thank you. That's all I have.
All right, anybody else have anything tonight? Do we have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Mr. Clark. Second by Ms. McClurkin. We'll stand adjourned.